What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with the next video for Might and Magic Elemental Guardians. If you guys didn't hear, this morning the Ubisoft Barcelona team opened up an hour on the Discord server for an AMA with the community. I didn't get a chance to check it out live, but I did take a look at some of the questions and answers that they provided. So in today's video, I went ahead and collected some of those popular questions that everyone was excited about and provide those answers for you here. Now, if you guys haven't checked it out or want to see the full list of questions, all you have to do is check out the Discord in the link. There's going to be a link in the description down below, okay? Before we get into that, though, let's go ahead and get some announcements out of the way. I know you guys are pretty excited about the giveaway winner for the our recent summoning session for the Supreme Soulstone. It looks like the winner is Lobster, who states that the 4-star he's hoping to get someday is the Earth Death Knight. Now, I know that we got a lot of feedback as far as the time zones for future giveaways or whatnot, so I will say this. Next week, if we do get a giveaway going, it's going to be a mid-morning stream. So even though obviously not all of you guys are going to be able to be there, don't you worry. We're going to do something that we did similar, where we did like a couple of giveaways live on Twitch, as well as some type of a giveaway on YouTube. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Now, last thing I want to mention out there, if you guys haven't checked out the event session, I got to give a huge shout out to Vulcan with Vulcan Games. He was recently featured in the event section, and rightfully so. For those that don't know, he was another one of the players that got a chance to test out this game during soft launch. Made some great content out there for those months leading up to the game release. And I remember to this day, of all the different people that I've been able to connect with, he was definitely one of the few that assisted me with just kind of getting my feet wet into the game and learning a few things. Now, it's been a crazy journey to see him. I watched his channel grow. He was sitting at about 120 subscribers, 130 subscribers, literally a week before launch. And after 2.5 weeks now, about 3 weeks, he's sitting at almost 2,500 subscribers, with a handful of videos sitting anywhere between 15 to 20,000 views. Again, guys, if you are maybe recently found me within the game, or you've been following me from my previous gameplay and various games, whatnot, if you think my content is good, then you need to check out Vulcan Games, because his content is absolutely amazing. Okay, it's by far the fastest growing YouTuber when it comes to the Might and Magic Elemental Guardians, and I'm really excited for you guys to check him out. He has a ton of great guides and a ton of experience backing up his theory crafting that he provides on the channel, so definitely check him out. Okay, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into the questions here. Now, just to kind of put that information as they lead it out in the AMA. One of the things that they said was they basically separated the questions with the answers, separated them in 2 different channels, and then provided and basically stated like they've instructed people to relay the questions to them and not put any filters. So obviously you guys might have guessed there's going to be a couple of funny ones as well as the serious ones in there, and they had a blast with it. Now we're going to focus on the serious ones because I know that's what you guys are here to listen to, but I will just kind of hand it to them. Like, they definitely had a blast. It seems like it was a really good time. So first one, which I think, and this is not in any kind of like order or anything, this is just the way I wrote it down. I think this was a big one in the community as far as the iOS or Android platform or cross-platform. Somebody was asking basically, are we going to be able to sync up our devices if we have 2 different devices, one with iOS and Android? The dev team stated that they do plan on introducing an account merge for that, but they're looking to get that done later this summer. So no tentative date on that just yet. But obviously with some of us having 2 different devices, it's going to be really nice if we want to go ahead and do that. I know personally I use an Android device for streaming, but I play on my phone, which is iOS. So it would be nice to have that accessibility. Okay, next one up here, which is a really good topic, and this one I want to shed some light on too. We had another follower ask about the speed and the overall gameplay. They said that even the ×3 speed feels a little bit low, and they were looking to see if they were going to improve it. The dev team said that they were going to increase the ×3 speed in the next build, and they're going to review it and monitor to feedback once you guys get a chance to play with it. Okay, now as far as my 2 cents on this topic, I understand that for any of you guys that are coming from other games out there that are similar to this style, playing the game for quite some time, then coming into a new game, obviously the time that it's going to take in order to clear content is gonna be a relatively, got to be a lot slower time. Now, of course, as you can see right here, even with my team, it's taken us a couple of minutes here, but obviously for me to have a consistent run, I'm using a heavy amount of support-based units to make it so I don't waste any energy, right? But over time, as we collect the glyphs and improve on our overall stats between our units, obviously that's going to be able to speed up the run. So definitely look forward to that. However, I will say this. I do believe that while increasing the time series speed might be a nice thing to change, I honestly don't think that that's like the #1 factor that is going to come into play as far as making things smoother. I personally believe that the speed doesn't need a change. I believe it's the AI that can be improved, and I think you guys can agree with me on this, that if the AI was improved as far as, taking a look at which like if there was a defense debuff on a unit versus another unit, and they both had the same type of elemental neutrality, so to speak, but all of elements were considered neutral at the time, then they should go for the one with the defense break, or they should go for the one with the lower HP or the majority of the harmful effects. There is definitely a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done. They have recognized that. We all have recognized that. The developers have definitely recognized that. So I personally believe that even though the speed thing might be nice to improve it, I honestly think that the AI improvement across the board should be enough to reduce the overall times a little bit and kind of get us back into those to the swing of like having not just faster runs, but a little bit more consistent. Again, it's an interesting topic to do because you want to improve the AI, but you don't want to make it to the point where it's like, oh my God, it's the best thing in the world. Like there's no, like you can't, like it's almost like what's the point of trying to do it manually, because AI is just it's just superb, right? So it was a really interesting topic, and I'm glad they brought that up here. So let's go ahead and collect what, okay, we're going to hold on to that. Speed-based lifesteal. I will gladly take that. Now, let's take a look here. Now, this was actually one that I think got snuck in there, and I'm glad that everyone was out there and they kept it real here. We had one of the guests stop by and ask a question about the next build or the next big update. And one of the developers from the team did state that they're looking in the first week of July to put out the next update, and but they cannot tell us that exact day, and that's to be understood. A lot of things can happen between now and then, but the fact that they're giving us an idea of what they're looking at, which is at the end of last month, right, they introduced a game. So basically it's going to be about a month before they release their first big update, which for me personally, I believe that's exactly what they need to do. If the update is coming on with more quality of life changes, monster balances changes, a couple of tweaks here and there, having it come out on a monthly basis, I think is really, really good, and definitely keeps everything nice and refreshing, and it gives them enough time to take a look at some of our feedback and then invest the time into testing it out and putting it into the game. Okay, next one that we got for you is actually related to the update. There was somebody asking basically what is the focus of the update. Now it looks like the dev team said that they can tell us that the next build is going to be focused around PvP. Then it is turned for the guild cool stuff. Beyond that, they cannot share. So that's a really, really good thing. I'm glad that they are going to be taking a look at the PvP. Now, obviously, when it comes to PvE, there's a lot of quality of life improvements that have definitely been considered. So I think that they're going to be on point with that. But we've had a lot of people in the community share their opinion about the PvP, where the monsters are currently sitting at. Are some too strong? Are some a little weak? Where are we at with the attack scaling monsters? And what's gonna happen with them? Can we work them in the meta? There definitely needs to be some look at that. And I do believe when they talk about the reworking of PvP, that's going to be one of the things that they're strongly going to consider. So again, guys, for some of you that are like, oh my goodness, like I don't know what I'm gonna do, these guys are just these units are just off the chain, right? They're just so good. I don't know if I'll be able to ever compete with that. Then I think that we're gonna get our answers sooner than later. Okay, the next one is a question that actually I think got answered on YDCB's interview with them that he did, the private interview that he showcased on his YouTube channel. Was the question about 150 the 150 summoning quest, essentially an opportunity for us to get a free natural 4-star. Basically, one of the viewers asked if they were ever going to do that, ever going to see it more frequently, if they're ever going to do that in the future. And the developers said that this was a very specific event we did for the game launch. They do not have no plan. They don't have any plan to do it on a regular basis, but it might come later on for something exceptional, but no plan to repeat it anytime soon. Now, let me go ahead and shed some thoughts on that one. I think this is a brilliant, this was a brilliant idea, bringing on board this type of event early on in the game. For some of you guys that have played similar games that haven't been too fortunate on specific units, having the opportunity as a free-to-play player to get, one of the rarest units in the game is simply amazing. And the way how they've created these units with all the mechanics that are in the game, some of these units have 2 to 3 mechanics, embedded into one skill. So, if you are, fortunate, you're going to get able to get a unit that has some really cool roles that can substitute for other monsters that have been recommended in the community. But honestly, just having the opportunity to have something stronger than your typical, summon out of a soulstone is going to be really nice, and it kind of gives you a little jump start, and it gets you excited to see what kind of avenue they're going to be taking on with some of these monsters in the game down. So I'm pretty excited about that. The game could have definitely gone pay to win with it. Would it have been accepted in the community? I don't think so. I think the play to win was absolutely brilliant, and now it's essentially a matter of making sure that they balance it out with different events down the road. Nothing like too crazy like that, because obviously, guys, if they were to do something like that all the time, yes, it would be nice as a free-to-play player to continuously get more natural 4-stars, but the more they do this event, the more they devalue the rarity of the monsters. And obviously, if anybody's been seeing my channel beforehand, there's a couple of games that I used to play that basically, let they let the rarity of their monsters kind of go. And unfortunately, there was no creativity, there was no innovation when it comes to team building and whatnot, because everybody had every single rare unit in the game. So, but that's all I'm going to say about that. Again, I'm really happy that they went with the way they did, because they could have gone either way. But I feel like that really gave them a nice, great start for the game, and I believe the community has already responded on that. So, next one, let's see what we got going on here. So this is another good question as well. They asked the developer teams, there was somebody that basically said, hey, there's a lot of, different things that people have, games have put out there as far as certain features, and, all the little sections called, it says like they're coming soon, they're coming soon, they're coming soon. And some of those are, available in a month, and some of those that we've been waiting for almost a year in other games to, see that. And so the viewer asked basically, when are those features going to be coming? And so the dev team, which if you guys haven't checked out their Discord, all these questions, they were extremely transparent with a lot of their answers. This one being one of many. They basically said all these features that we were looking at were basically part of an original roadmap that they were looking to implement. However, once you got the real players and got the feedback from them, they adapted their priorities accordingly. And I want to make that make an emphasis on the real players and the real feedback, because the last question that we're going to be talking about is definitely going to be a controversial topic in the community that I want you guys to definitely be fully aware of, okay? The next one here, though, the heroic evolution. This is something that was hinted out throughout the community. We heard a couple of developers talk about it on the YDTB stream or video, and basically they were asking about if there ever is going to be a chance of allowing us to use, the extra monsters as fodders to go ahead and skill up our units, so that we can have basically like a free skill up if we have a duplicate of that unit. So they basically said that this is currently on hold, and they, thanks to all of you, they had a lot of different priorities to consider, but it is coming. But right now they're looking at PvP, and then of course the guilds, improvement of the guilds to give you guys more opportunities to do stuff is going to be that's going to be their focus right now. So I'm kind of going on along the side with that, because I know this was something that people were asking about, the evolution of the skills. They did hint about the feedback again on YDCB's video. So if I didn't say that already, basically it looks like that is something that they're going to somehow implement, something that will allow us to reroll. So if you weren't fortunate, one of your rare rare units, or maybe even a 2-star unit that you use all the time, then don't worry, because we'll have an opportunity to do that down the road. Now, it's time to get to the final question, a question that definitely got a lot of people thinking about, and I'm hoping to kind of just share my 2 cents. And again, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. This is going to be a very unbiased opinion, just not on a person that's a content creator making content for a game, but just an overall player. Okay, and I want to give a shout out to. His name was Touch My Elmo. This is the person that provided the question. They basically said, are there going to be ways or events exclusive to new players to be able to catch up to the beta players with 1 year of farming and summoning, right? And so for those that don't know, this game, when it launched, it wasn't just a full release launch. This actually had a soft launch in various countries for quite a few months, okay? And so obviously, you know, a lot of people heard about that and they were concerned because some of these people that have been playing for a little bit here, you know, what are they going to do with those accounts? Were they going to reset it or not? Well, if you guys haven't heard already, those accounts were not reset. But what the development team said was that prior to the you know, all this going down here, the game has changed quite a bit in that last year. And as far as everything that you guys are currently seeing right now, when it comes to new players, they have way more advantages than any of the other veteran players ever had. That was an interesting topic. I know that was something that was going on in the back of a lot of people's heads because they did, you know, see a couple of YouTube videos with people and they had, you know, 5-star units, you know, with decent glyphs or whatnot. So that was an interesting thing to bring up. Now, let me go ahead and shed again, and I want to reiterate, this is an unbiased opinion. I hope that you guys can take it for what it's worth, because to be truthfully honest, I think that you know, regardless of where you look at it in life, everything happens for a reason, right? So when it comes to this game and their plan of action, from my perspective, looking at it, you know, externally, one of the things that I've really taken a close eye on is how closely connected they are to the community. As I was a person that had the early access for a month, I saw a couple of updates get implemented, and literally different topics as far as what the community has asked for get copied and pasted into the developers' notes. So for the stuff that you guys asked for, they're like, hey, even though we have a plan of action, we're looking to take your guys' feedback, we're looking to adapt it into our scenario, because regardless of what they create, that definition of how we look at things as a developer versus a player is completely different. So having somebody that is constantly playing, constantly testing out a variety of things, they can give that honest feedback and try to make the game what it is today. You know, while they could, you know, sit there in their whole developmental process of making a game and just sit there and do it all themselves, they actually opened the game up to a couple of countries so that they can have a couple of players come in, test out the game, give them their brutally honest feedback so that they can make the game what it is today. I bet there's a couple of you guys out there that are really enjoying this game because of a nice handful of features, some of the customization aspects that I fell in love with. And honestly, some of you guys probably wouldn't be playing the game right now if there was all the, the lack of improvements that we didn't get to see, through that, process. So again, it's definitely a hard one to swallow, but obviously there's only so much I can say. But I will say this. I truly believe that the player base, of the people that are still around is way smaller than people would imagine. And so again, it's still, can be considered, possibly an unfair advantage. But when we think about every single thing, all the people out there that tested out this game and stuck to the game without any kind of they basically just stuck to the game, tested it out, provided the feedback, went back and forth, even with all the issues that were going on at the time. You got to hand it to them for taking the time out of the day to provide that feedback. So again, like I said before, they can help out the developers to get the game to where it is today. So my hat's off to the developer team. It's a hard decision to make, and everyone wants to have a competitive. They want to have a fair competitive play. As a player looking into the game, while I would want it to be competitive play, if it came down to allowing select countries to bring in players to test out the game to make it the best game it can be come launch, then I wouldn't have any problem with allowing those people to continuously play rather than killing their accounts and basically saying, hey, you guys started a year, a year ago, 6 months ago, whatever the case may be. We worked with you in order to make the game what it is today. Now we're going to cut you off. You're done. Take care. Thank you for doing everything you're doing. I mean, they can't do that, right? That's just not, that wouldn't just be right. So, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. Again, that's just a handful of questions that got thrown out there. So I'm hoping that if you guys are interested in this down the road, I'm hoping that we can provide a little bit of feedback, do these a little bit more with the developers. I think this is really, really great. Again, just from an outside perspective, launching a game and then within 2 weeks, opening up their developer team to a variety of questions from the community, as well as different influencers, as you guys already saw. YDCB did a video with them. That's just another reason. That just kind of goes to show how community driven they are, how focused they are to getting your guys' feedback and making the game better. And again, while this sounds very, very biased on that, you guys know me. Okay, you guys know me and how community driven I've been focused on. For a company to be able to do that, just coming out of the gate like that, you gotta hand it to them. You gotta hand it to them, because again, in that last month, even in the last month of changes prior to launch or whatnot, I saw them change so many things that would have taken other games months to do. It's just crazy the amount that the turnaround of time. And like I said before, if you see a video 6 months ago to now, I mean, the game is night and day difference. So we got to hand it to everybody that worked really hard at bringing the game forward. We got to hand it to the developer team for, again, taking the time to connect with a variety of players on the Discord server. And thank you guys as well for all your support and providing all the feedback that you have since global launch. Again, a lot of the things that I should be coming here soon. I believe they said it was the first week of July in the one of our previous videos. I feel like it's going to be a great update, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how everybody enjoys it. Okay, that's going to be it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.